We're speaking to someone who has cried a lot or cries a lot, who could grapple with their anger, have mixed emotions about their anger or temper, where very deep communication or even abstract communication can sometimes conceal vulnerability, or through that deep communication is the way that you express vulnerability. This person is very familiar with the shadows, with the underworld, can be comfortable in cemeteries or appreciate old kind of ancient structures. This could also speak to a very active and wild dream world or even deep imagination that is connected to the subconscious. So it's feeding you images from the unconscious, essentially giving you information. This person could almost shapeshift, travel throughout many times, eras, reflect many past lives or different moments, almost look like different people at times. This person carries shadows from their lineage, ancestry, and past on both the feminine and the masculine, though we do see there's a heavier wounding on the feminine, one that is somehow more burdensome for this person to carry related to the feminine. They do have protection in many ways from the masculine shadow, even though this person will ultimately integrate within this lifetime. Heritage, culture, something like this, reconnecting to roots is coming through. This person feels very hurt and very devastated, more than they would like to. Sometimes as if they're drowning in the hurt, especially watching people hurt them or not understand them. It's like they expect it, but it still stings so much. And they just sit there in the hurt, not believing, but also knowing because they're so used to it in a way. This person is also a very deep thinker. All right, meditation would serve them well, or if you're connecting, would serve you well, especially at this time. Meditation just really helps you to connect to what's going on with you, and you can be like an enigma to yourself a lot of the time. So it's good for you to understand yourself first and foremost and what's going on with you, when and to what level that you can. It does feel like the feminine shadow is in focus right now. So you could literally be dealing with a lot of themes around feminine shadow. This could be in your own body and experience and how you're able to claim or connect to that energy, or even around you. And sometimes this can even be clouding in a way your wisdom, these fears and thoughts that really are dense, connected to feminine wounds, ancestry, that shadow. They can sometimes cloud your clarity or your wisdom, especially when they're up front right now, or when they're up front as they are right now. You can also have a slight gothic energy to you, even if it's underneath, like undertone, under the surface. Now, I do feel that it's a really important time for you to, when you're connecting with yourself, try to forgive yourself wherever you can, big or small, it does not matter. Even if you don't feel like that's effective or you don't understand how, the more you understand yourself, the more you realize that there's not so much blame to hold. And you may not even see that you're holding blame right now, but there is some blame and warring expectations that you have inside towards yourself, some guilt, things like this. And it's a very important time to really trace that back to the roots and release yourself from your own judgment, your harsh angles on you, to really get into that self-forgiveness work and energy. All right, let's look at some additional messages that you should know at this time that you would benefit from hearing. Okay, a little bit of surprise energy. You may not see the value in this currently, but in the near future, okay, let's even say into May, June, throughout, July, Northern Hemisphere, summer, but especially May, June, more consistency, consistent physical action. This can be consistent working, consistent exercise. It's like you're consistently working on something physically, and this is extremely grounding, rewarding, and balancing for you. I don't even feel like this is advice as much as it is what's going to happen and occur, and it's going to actually be such a big deal for you. Maybe because before it was hard to find consistency or hard to even stay interested in consistency, and yet what's coming into your life, especially through some of this deep, restful work that you're doing with your own self, is going to be a release of some of the resistance around that consistent building, the things that sabotage or come in and make it unstable or tear it up. Like, you're going to find something very interesting to you, or a way to sustainability is a word here, something consistent in your life. And again, this can be around work. It can also be around your body. It's something that you're physically doing, and that's just very grounding for you, especially being as deep and almost dreamy in some ways of a person that you can be. This may not appear to be your ultimate wish fulfillment or your ultimate dream, like all this consistent work. It may not seem like it's connected to that dream vision that you have, and yet it is so important. And you may feel discouraged, or in the past you felt discouraged about consistent building if it wasn't connected to like your ultimate dream in a way. And I feel in the near future you're going to be finding almost a sanctuary or a relief in a more mindless building that's not so attached to some big hope, dream, passion, or like big outcome, that it's not so interwoven with your identity and your heart. So it's almost a liberation for you. And there's a lot with the Two of Swords in reverse of mental clarity, grounding again, decisive understanding and action that comes with this. And I also feel that instead of focusing so much on the healing, because healing can be in bouts or in seasons, you'll get to focus more on living your life in some way. It does feel like there's going to be some powerful success in work for you. You integrate with the Chariot, and bam, there's like this fast forwards movement on just being able to stick to it daily. For some of you, this could also indicate a new car or some kind of movement or motion that is very sound of heart, sound of mind. I also feel instead of seeking it outside of you for some kind of a wish, you are being it, you are embodying it, you are creating it, making it, becoming it, and really understanding more of who you are and what you want at this point in your journey, in your life, okay? I do feel like you've been guarded, especially if you started a new love situation or a new journey earlier this year, or even in 2024. Whenever you're seeing this, it's fine, but it's like you could have stayed kind of guarded and not trusted that it's a really reliable start for you, which is still connected to this consistent, stable energy. And there's been a big theme around stability in our readings lately. So our collective is definitely, or whoever you are connecting, you're definitely on that page a bit. I think that there's been a lot of emotional, mental confusion and uncertainty and indecision, and again, instability, up and down, back and forth, connected to new journeys, connected to new love, that kind of a thing. So you've just naturally kind of kept yourself inside of yourself in some ways. So not only away from these people and things, but from yourself too. You've been uncertain about money, or your physical world, where it's going to go, where it's going to come from, how it's going to end up. Maybe you feel, am I always going to feel like I'm settling, or like it's not really working, or that it's like a half thing. Maybe you felt like that for a while. I do feel in the near future, from where you are already emotionally, you can do this consistency. It is not about perfection. So come into even April, May, June area, depending on when you're seeing this, it's like you're okay where you are emotionally. All right, you don't need to go somewhere else. And in this last moment of the reading, why is the Five of Swords here? You don't need to be something else, go somewhere else, become something else to have that stability and that sanctuary. Why is this Five of Swords here? I feel like the Five of Swords is a sense of betrayal, abandonment, fear, something that keeps you locked away sometimes from being able to be soft or feel feminine. And it's definitely from the past. It's like it sticks with and leaks into all the present stuff that happens, okay? I feel like you worry a lot. You're going to run into this energy and it's going to just sabotage everything. And the feeling is like if you go deeper, if you meditate and go deeper with yourself now while you have the opportunity and see the lessons that have been missed or overlooked or that you resisted sitting with before, that will change everything for you. Now is the time.